Some people dream that nations are natural, but the dream is a waste product of nation states. The nation is artificial nature. The state came first and imagined a community to fit. The dream of nations as nature is race hallucination, even when called national culture. Managers of poverty are pleased to leave the poor gnawing on chunks of national identity. Soon, they'll gnaw on each other. Homelands are spiritual homeless shelters, supervised punch-ups permitted for the physically foreclosed. Under new normal capitalist realism, the market is another sort of artificial nature. National administration loses some autonomy in an EU-style supranational body. But the EU never sought to overthrow the nation state. Rather, the point was to change it. Single EU states are sent out in perpetual competition, each against the other, national gladiators in a regulated arena. Competitive devaluation of social, fiscal, labor law, compulsory self-harm for Europeans. Sole beneficiary in the famous race to the bottom, capital is a surefire winner. The magic of competitiveness, magicians say, is that it works on every level. What's good for national gladiators goes for populations too. Workers in one state must fight those in the next, while also fighting each other. Economic blood sports in one country make it competitive against national rivals, and so on, up to EU versus US and assorted former colonies. Nationalism is one reaction among many to the economic strangling of the former First World working class. Of all those possible reactions, the strangling class likes this one best. Borders, national, supranational borders. What are these borders, without which the people-smuggling business model, the hyper-exploitation supply chain would die? Fictive borders, no less real for that reason. Borders restrict more than free movement. They delete rights retroactively. The escape clause in the rights of man and the citizen, non-citizens need not apply. Nazi law stripped its victims of nationality before they could be killed. The killers might otherwise have breached the rights of the citizen. Borders, by definition, discriminate, which in this case is to say they kill. Discriminating first between capital, which crosses freely, and human bodies, labor in the treaties, to be detained, deported, drowned, enslaved, at guard dogs' discretion. Borders are the competitive advantage of free-flowing capital against the border-bound class. Communities enclosed by modern borders are retroactively called natural. Borders built into capital set wages, withhold welfare, hand down life sentences of survival or less. Borders, not border crossers, are the problem. Notional for the nationally privileged, insurmountable for others. Non-citizens crossing borders uninvited are outlawed, classed as merchandise by merchants and anti-trafficking campaigns. Bare biomaterial for the next proprietor's use. The border is a supple membrane letting the desired flows through and filtering the bad, and a screen where sovereign violence, the dead blood of politics, flickers constantly. All territory behind the border and in front of it is a frontier zone. Unhealed bloody seam. Razor wire where nerves would be. As physical reflex and language, habitual emergency, the border occupies society. External, internal, social. Bordering techniques are manifold. Law and non-law join in the exquisite indistinction that flexible production forever needs. The border is an innovation hub, special enterprise zone where every kind of cruelty, injustice, inequality is continuously improved. Thank our borders for a zoned, segmented, immigrated workforce, living, serving under optimal conditions, insecurity and terror. Borders are inclusive. Candidates are filtered and selected for controlled, servile circulation. Indenture as adventure by methods no less violent than the complementary ones, excluding losers. World configuring borders are still undone by unimagined shifts of collective trajectory as shown by movements of refugees. Welcome. Welcome culture. Welcome for exploitation. A welcome culture of exploitation. People unstoppably crossing borders. Outlawed immigrants, refugees, named asylum seekers by deniers of asylum, internally displaced and stateless. attempting to live, attempting to survive, which is less. States fight and fail to enforce borders which kill but are never quite impassable. In the summer of migration, EU borders fell like dominoes, releasing alienated bodies in imaginary nations. Until the recent centuries of states and colonies, humans moved mostly unopposed by armed bureaucracy. Today, free movement is proof possible daily by numberless paperless travelers observing no borders at all. Wandering columns of refugees in EU capitals could seem spectres of 1919 or the European World Civil War of the 17th century. But refugee self-consciousness is different now. Border fences torn down with political menace, Budapest Keleti station blockaded. Schengen suspended and the Frontex bluff called by an unvanquishable number of the refugeless from Syria and the wider war zone world. What Europeans comfortably called Arab Spring from afar confronts the continent of comfort with unmanageable hope and power. We are here because you destroyed the countries we came from. We didn't cross the border, it crossed us. Until about the millennium, a refugee could claim EU asylum at her country of origin embassy. European petty powers ended that option, having destroyed countries of origin through pillage, post-colonial dependency, one-way free trade, and terror against terror. Actual safe corridors for refugees, not the forced marches, open-air prisons proposed so far, are the least of what's needed. Now. Open borders exist within limits of borders already. Nationality lottery winners breeze through the Schengen zone as they please. But borders bind, reduce, and define the rest with ever smarter, deeper techniques. Free movement for all is no utopia. What's utopian, as in More's artificial island and its moat, is the dream of successful border control. Opening borders is not radical change. Radical change would mean borders erased irreversibly. Open borders, by definition, discriminate and punish and can be closed. Let in the high-performing, best-conforming applicants, like an executive opening, upscale opportunity. Open and closed borders measure foreign bodies' worthiness and worth. Racist credit rating agencies. Borders. No borders. A world without borders is possible. So is the post-national world it implies. No special treatment for refugees, no handouts, equal rights like none ever heard of before for all. No borders, no nation, no apology. for making history of both abominations.